just don't give up. It will get hard at times, but if you just keep chipping away at like growing your business every single day, it will happen for you.
Hey, Delisha Ivins here on behalf of Mike Shreve and the No Pants Show, and today I'm here with the awesome Megan Gersch, who has been tearing it up in NPP. She does wonderful things in her freelancing biz, and today she's here to tell us a little bit about some of her successes and a little bit about her journey and some of the harder things and how she overcame them. So, Megan, welcome to the No Pants Show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, we're super excited to have you. Now, I noticed you've got a lot of super cool artwork on your background wall. We're going to get into that for a second. But where are you joining us from today?
I am in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, the city of lost angels. No, suddenly reminded of some Anchorman comments. I'm going to keep this to myself. So, Megan, tell me about your superpower.
Sure, yeah. I help music industry professionals level up their marketing by creating stunning, cutting-edge imagery so that they can make more sales.
Nice. So I'm guessing that's why you have all the really cool stuff going on in your background.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm an artist at heart.
Nice. I see like all the like billions of paintbrushes. You've got like one of every size. Super fun. So when you say you level up their marketing, kind of tell me a little bit about what that is to them. Like, what does that look like for them?
Yeah, when people ask me what I do, I kind of explain to them that I design with the purpose for marketing, if that kind of gives you an idea. So I design with marketing strategy in mind.
Okay, so you're doing like comprehension, like full stuff, like you're doing like the posters and the social media images and like creating like whole like images and strategy and kind of tying all that together to pull in and engage their audience. Am I like understanding that correctly?
Yep, you nailed it.
Cool. Awesome. So how are you enjoying freelancing so far?
I'm loving it. It's really been like a breath of fresh air for like my mental state. I love the like flexibility that it gives me when I get to like create my own schedule for the day, and you know, I get to choose the clients that I work with. But yeah, it's been really great for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely. And as far as like goals that you're setting up, like what are some of the goals that you have moving forward with your business? Like, you know, a year, 5 years, what are you kind of looking at to establish for yourself?
I really want to develop some products for the music industry, as far as like educational tools, as you know, in the marketing and social media kind of realms. When I was first starting out in the music industry, like it was kind of just beginning to become a thing, like in college and like, you know, classes and literature and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have like a, you know, some kind of guiding voice when I was that age. Like, you know, basically the advice that we were getting was meet as many people as you can and nourish those relationships. I mean, which is still true, but there's like a lot more to that, to marketing and like social media and, you know, how to like create images that will get through to your audience and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, the whole landscape has just changed like a huge amount in the last 10 years or even 5 years. It changes every year, but for sure,
yeah.
like you really got to be on point with like targeting those images and targeting your message to your audience's persona and their interests and kind of keying in on that. So that's super cool. And I mean, like I've seen like your website and stuff that you know, that you're using to work with and send your traffic to the music industry professionals, and you're like on point with colors and branding. It's very unique. It's very personalized. And it doesn't replicate or look like any other artist out there that I've seen. So you're doing a great job with that. So I can only imagine the kind of stuff that you're doing for your clients. So that's really cool.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really nice of you.
It's good. I'll let you see my website one day. So tell me a little bit about Megan's life before the No Pants project. Like what was, kind of what was your day-to-day like? What was, going on in your life? Were you freelancing before the No Pants project?
So before this, I had a full-time job at a live events company. And I'd been freelancing kind of on and off for about 11 or 12 years, but just kind of made the decision that I wanted to make the jump for myself and kind of put myself out there and see if I could make this business like, my full-time gig. And so about a month ago, I did that, and I've been freelancing full-time ever since.
So for a month now, you've been full-time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So does that mean you're like sleeping until 10 o'clock every morning, or are you still like getting up early and trying to be productive?
Honestly, no. Like I've been like pretty much having like the same hours because I want to be on the same schedule as my husband's hours. So that way in the night when he gets home, I can be available to like hang out and like, we can go out or do whatever. So
most definitely. So you were working a job before, you were doing 40 hours and you were doing maybe some freelancing on the side. So were you, pretty regular at 40 hours, or did you have to work over a lot, or, were you tired? Like, I mean, I don't know, like the job that I was working before I joined MPP, which I loved. I had a great team and I had a great group of people to work with. But there were just like some weeks that were just like longer than others. And after a while, especially like an event season, because you're working with music promoters, and I did a lot of events in that season. So during event season, it was just like, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely like varies from time to time, like season to season, like you were saying. But I think for the most, like it was very hard for me to leave my job also because the group of people that I work with were just incredible. And I'm still friends with them to this day. And like, we still hang out and all of that. But I think there was a point where there were certain tasks and things that were getting handed to me that were making me kind of unhappy. And so I kind of had to make the decision for myself to make moves and move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like creating a lifestyle of a little less stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. So, did you kind of already know, because this is kind of what you've been doing, but did you kind of already know what your superpower would be going into MPP, or was there any like moment where you were like, I'm not sure, maybe I should try something new?
Yeah, I mean, my heart has always been in kind of the design world, and I love the live events industry as well. So, I mean, marrying those two has always been like my ideal world. So kind of coming into it, I had like an idea of like, that's what I wanted to do, but NPP really helped me with like a lot of the positioning and kind of like how to speak to clients, like, like how to present yourself in a way that will, make you more enticing than just being like, hi, I'm a designer and I do this, or.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. I think positioning is definitely key. It's one of those tricky questions where like somebody asks you, they're like, so what do you do? And you're like, okay, I need to figure out how to explain this like I would to an 8-year-old without overburdening them, but while still delivering value. How do I do that? And so, like, even just learning how to explain that is super powerful, and it helped me a lot too. Like just trying to hone that in and being able to kind of figure that part out. So how was your confidence kind of going into No Pants? Like you already kind of had the design skills down, you already had a feel for the industry. Were you just like, no, I totally got this, all I gotta do is do the work? Or were you like, I have to learn something new here, what's this all about?
It's like really weird and funny. Like, I feel like looking back, like despite like having a fair amount of like accomplishments under my belt, like I was still experiencing a lot of that like negative self-talk and like that negative like, oh, that would be awesome, but I can't do it. Or like, you know, for whatever reason was like talking myself out of things, or, you know, a lot of that going on. And so, I mean, I feel like NPP definitely helped me a lot with like a lot of the like soul searching and like figuring out what exactly I wanted out of life, and, you know, really digging down to like figure out like, I'm not going to do this anymore, or I'm not going to work with these kinds of people anymore, or I'm not going to take on this kind of project anymore. And those are like really important, valuable lessons that I've learned, you know.
I feel you. Like yeah, it was crazy. Like for the longest time when I was younger, I wanted to start my own business, but I watched my dad, and he was an entrepreneur and he had his own business, and he would work like late hours and work on the weekends and be on call. And I just like, by the time I hit college, I was like, no, I want to clock in, clock out. I don't want
Yeah.
I didn't understand that you could like, as an entrepreneur, you can be like, no, I'm just not gonna work past 5. So for me, like we got to the red ropes policy and everything, and like creating your magic fence and like, okay, here are my rules. I'm not going to be on call 24/7. This is how my business works. And if you want to work with me, we kind of got to work within these times. I was like, oh, I can do that and people will still pay me. Craziness. So now you're freelancing for a month and you're doing awesome and you're kicking out stuff. Like, I guess let me say, like, how many clients are you working with right now, or how's that going for you as far as like onboarding and kind of pulling all the processes, everything that you learned in MPP together?
I have, I think, 4 different clients that I'm working with right now. A lot of them have, since I left my job, have been kind of like one-off projects. So it's kind of, you know, they kind of, you have a project and then you finish it and then you invoice them and then maybe they come back to you with another project. But yeah, like 4 like major projects right now.
Wow. That's pretty cool. And, you know, there's probably a way, I mean, especially since you already have a relationship with these guys, to build that into like a retainer ongoing program. You know, I guess right now they're probably just kind of like, even since you're only like a month in, they're probably still kind of like testing you out.
Yeah.
That you'll deliver.
Yeah, I mean, several of my clients have already come back with repeat work for me. So, I mean, that always makes you feel great and like, you know, you're doing a great job and they trust what you're doing. So, yeah, it's been awesome.
No, I think you got it. I think you'll be good, especially the fact that you already had, which is super cool. Like you already had some clients to kind of to start with that followed you because they love the work that you were doing at your job and they pursued you. And then just building that relationship and continuing to serve, and then, you know, getting referrals and continuing to build that whole, you know, your email list and everything. That's going to go awesome. So have you completely replaced like your full-time income yet? Or are you on like a path to do that?
Yeah, I just ran the numbers yesterday and I have completely replaced my income as of yesterday. So it's really awesome. And the month's not even over. So who knows? There might be more coming in.
Nice. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Good to see you. That's super cool. So, okay, so you've got roughly 4 clients now and you're full-time for a month. Tell me, going through MPP, because this is always good to know, like as you're going through, like obviously you're working a full-time job, which, you know, means that your time after work and your energy and like even just your brain energy is kind of like limited. How did you get NPP to fit into your life? Like, how did you make that work for you? Were there times where it was a struggle, or did you have struggle going through any like certain modules or homework?
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely points where, you know, I was working 8 hours at my job and then I was coming home and like, I was just so determined to change my like work career path at that point that I was like really working hard at NPP, anywhere from like 1 to 4 hours a night. So at most I was doing like 12-hour days. And so, yeah, I mean, there were definitely points where I was feeling like a little burnt out. And, as we've talked about, like, I'm in the music industry. So it's like, a lot of the days are work all day, and then people go to happy hours, and then you go to shows at night. So some days are like that. And so it's like that on top of like kind of making this career change was like a little trying at times, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So would you say like your biggest struggle was like the time and the energy to try to just kind of pull it all together and get through it? Like, did you have any other, like, as far as like getting through the lessons? You already kind of have a marketing kind of background, so I'm assuming most of that stuff kind of came through and you're like, oh cool, got it.
Yeah, I mean, most of the lessons were pretty straightforward for me. I mean, like I said before, I had a lot of interesting breakthroughs, like during the kind of like soul searching stuff, and like, the red rope policies, and like kind of really drilling down to like what I didn't want to do anymore. And I think that's honestly one of the most valuable lessons that I took from it.
Nice. Yeah, the No More list is awesome. It's definitely one of my favorites. And I love writing other people's lists on there. It's so crazy. And what about high points? Like tell me about during the course, like you're working through it, you're working your job, and all of a sudden like something clicks, or you're like, oh my gosh, I can totally do this. Like, were there any moments where you were kind of going through where you're like, just all of a sudden it was like a little light bulb went off?
Yeah, I mean, I think this kind of seems small, but I think definitely one of those moments was when people started signing up for my email list. And I was like, whoa, like people want to hear what I have to say. That's like, so, coming from this place of like, I can't do anything, like that's a cool opportunity, but I probably couldn't do it, or, any of that. And then going to like, wow, these people want to hear from me every day. Like, that's so crazy.
Right? Like these total strangers just saw my on a page and they're like, yeah, I want to look at what this girl's doing. So
insane
right. So that kind of spin into, your plans and kind of give you a little bit more confidence to launch and to kind of jump off that diving board.
Definitely. And like towards the end of when I was working at my full-time job, I was getting, strangely, like a lot of freelance opportunities. And it just felt like things were kind of falling into place a little bit. Just like the way that I'd like set myself up online, was like already talking to people on LinkedIn, had gotten a few projects from that, had gotten a few referral projects just kind of like out of the blue. And it just like felt like the right time. Mm-hmm. So just made the jump.
Straight in. And you're swimming. You're not drowning. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. You're taking all the stuff that you already knew about yourself, and you're just, taking all the stuff you learned from MPP, and you're compressing it all and turning it into this wonderful thing. So that's really cool. So what about, what's on the horizon for you? Like what, you're looking at your future. You now can kind of determine your own work schedule. You get to hang out with your husband in the evenings. How do you feel about your future going forward?
Super excited to put it in a couple of words. I kind of feel like, the world is my oyster. Like I feel more confident, and it's only gonna, like, my business is only gonna get better. Like I feel like I'm equipped with the tools now to like make my business what I want it to be ultimately. So I'm excited.
Most definitely. And you're right. Like you're just getting started. And it's amazing to me, like how many people in MPP are like just getting started. And it's, I don't know, I'm going to be like super excited to go back and like look at everybody, even just next year, the same time next year, or like even in 5 years, and see where everybody's at. Because like having so much success early on, and like the determination and the drive to get it going, and, just the willingness and the desire to serve your clients, like that stuff is going to set you up. So it's going to be awesome. So I might stalk you on Facebook is all I'm saying.
Stalk away.
All right. So if we've got a music promoter, or maybe somebody who's just like in the like graphic arts or design industry, like you said, your superpower is kind of, I'm going to let you say it again, so I don't want to mess it up. Tell me again that your superpower. Explain to me.
I basically create marketing materials and unique designs for music industry professionals so that they can make more sales.
More sales. Yes, that's what I want to land on. Okay, so you're using design to help them get more sales. So if we've got some designers who are watching the show right now, or some creatives and things like that, and they're like, I don't know how to turn like the artwork in my brain into money. Like, how do I turn the stuff in my brain into something that is valuable to clients? Like, what would be like your, you know, your top super fun or easy, like your top one or top two or top three, like, okay, if you're looking at doing this, here are some tips on how to pull all this together. I would love to pick your brain.
Yeah, I mean, I would just tell them, like, you definitely have like the power within yourself to like create a business that kind of uses your passions and your skills to like create something custom that people will be into. You just have to find the right angle and the right kind of strategy to put it out there.
That's definitely very cool. And what about like your favorite strategies or like your favorite tactics, like how you go about creating like a strategy or a campaign? Like when you're thinking about your client, you're like, cool, I got to plan out the strategy of what I'm going to create for them. Like, what would be like some fun tactics or tips that you can share for people who are looking to create like a visual strategy, even just like branding their website or creating cohesive branding, kind of pulling the elements together?
I mean, I think the number one thing is you have to really focus on like who your audience is. You have to think about who those people are, where they're hanging out, what they like to do, what their kind of like pastimes are, you know, what their purchasing habits are, how often do they purchase, when do they purchase, what kind of ads do they react to. And you might not know all of that stuff right off of the bat, but through some testing, you can figure that out.
Very cool. Very cool. And all right, Megan, this is your space. This is like, what is that? It was like a great SNL clip. It was like something Jack's Corner, Words of Wisdom. Man, I wish I had it. This is like your Words of Wisdom segment. This is Words of Wisdom with Megan Gersch. What is your cool? What is your like super cool words of wisdom you would like to impart to everyone who is thinking of freelancing right
now? I think the first thing that comes to mind is just don't give up. It will get hard at times, but if you just keep chipping away at like growing your business every single day, it will happen for you. And it happened for me. So if it happened for me, it can happen for anyone. And don't be afraid to like advertise yourself and to kind of like make it known that you're available to help people. I think one of the best things, honestly, that I did after leaving my full-time job was I put out a feeler email, not even like a feeler email. It was more of just like a, hey, I'm leaving this job. Here's who to contact. Here's also my, my new email in case you want to get in touch. I hope we cross paths again in the future. And so like in response to that, I got like 10 different new leads for like projects, you know, people being like, oh, cool, you're not working for them anymore. I have this project that I need help with. So let's work together.
Right.
So
kind of
never turn your back on any kind of opportunity like that.
Most definitely. Yeah. And I think along with that too, which I think I've heard other people say, and Mike's even said, like, don't burn bridges. Like making sure that you keep every path, you know, happy and, you know, simpatico and all that good stuff is legit too. But yeah, I like that. Like keep chipping away. And I think you're right. Like even if you just work on it, you work on your business like 15, 30 minutes, an hour a day, like eventually you'll get there. It just is time and dedication. It's just repeated, determined practice. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone who is considering purchasing the No Pants program, but they're not sure if it's a good fit for them, or they're not really understanding like, okay, am I going to get in here and it's going to be like a billion modules and I don't know what to do with it? And, you know, what's the support look like? Am I just going to be like running through these classes and they're just going to drop me off and be like, cool, watch these videos. You got it. You're good. Like what would you say to people who are looking at, you know, taking part in the No Pants program?
Honestly, I would just say do it and do it now because it's honestly one of the best like investments that I've made for myself. The coaches in the program are incredible. I mean, yourself included, and so responsive. And, you know, everybody in the Facebook group has been so amazing and supportive and offers like meaningful kind of feedback on your projects. And everybody, it's really positive vibe in there, and it's super amazing. I love the community that's in there.
Yeah, me too. I think the Facebook group is definitely one of my favorite parts. And you know
Yeah.
what's really cool too is like when I started and I was just like working through all the assignments and kind of doing all the stuff, what's so cool is that you can get so many perspectives, and like you could post like your homework or post like here's my website, guys, check it out, help me over, and you have 20 people comment on it, and like one will be a proofreader and she'll be like, oh, you misspelled there, you misspelled she'll catch
Yeah.
grammar, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't see it. And the other person will be like a branding person, or like somebody who's really good with like images like you, and you'll be like, oh, this looks good, but maybe change the color scheme here. And then you'll have somebody else who's like a conversion person. They're like, oh, this is good, but you need to move your CTA up and make this button. And I'm like, oh man. So it's really cool because you have all these people who are like experts in their own field. And instead of having to go out and pay like all these different freelancers, like I just need somebody to look at my website and tell me what it is. Like you can just, they're there to support you and they help
Yeah.
each other. And it's super legit. So you get like access to that, and that's definitely like one of my favorite things. And everybody's really nice. I tried a group the other day and it was not very nice, and I jumped out of it, and then I had to detox. Like, this is scary. Scary.
Yeah, I mean, one of the awesome things too is like maybe a client will come to you like down the road with like, I need this done, and it's not really your expertise, or there's a group that you know, trust and are in like, you know, every day that maybe there's someone in there, you know, I don't know how many people are in there now, like 700 or something.
Yeah.
But you know, the most likely there's someone in there that you can partner with and wind up helping your client, and, you know, you both kind of win in that situation.
Very true. Very true. Good stuff. Megan, you're amazing. And thank you for bearing with me on that slight technical difficulty earlier.
No worries.
For those of you who are watching now, Dee thought she hit the record button and she didn't hit the record button, so we had to re-record. Just gonna lay that out there. And Megan was super gracious and grateful and just wonderful, and she went back and answered all these beautiful questions for you guys because she's amazing. So make sure to look her up and check out her stuff. And if you're in the music industry or know somebody who is, you know, pop on over there and take a look at her stuff. And if you're looking into the No Pants Project, the New Pants Project can help you get your freelance biz set up and running. The modules you can work through on a day-to-day basis. The support is there. You just gotta, you know, make the jump and just jump right in and give it a shot. Megan, thank you for joining us from LA, and I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group later.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. Super fun.
I told you.